Welcome to this introduction on Q summation theory. I'm Kate Durden, a graduate student in the University of West Florida Instructional Design program. Before we really dig in, I'd like to review some of the vocabulary we're going to encounter in this video. First, a cue is a piece of information that a learner is receiving, in other words, a clue. This can be informational or supportive, like circling or highlighting. A channel is how the learner is receiving that information, so if they're reading it or hearing it, for example. Think about the game Taboo. The aim of this game is to have your teammates guess a word. So if it's my turn and I'm trying to make you guess the word chess, I might give the actress Anya Taylor-Joy as a clue since she's the star of a show about chess. This would be one cue on the auditory channel. If you were having a hard time guessing and I wrote Anya Taylor-Joy down for you, it's still the same clue. I've just changed the channel by letting you see it. Now, if I showed you a picture of Anya Taylor-Joy from her television show, that would be a new cue or clue. So what is cue summation? According to Werner Severin, an early originator of the theory, in cue summation, learning increases as the number of available stimuli or cues increases. The theory was developed in the early 20th century as more modalities of information sharing became available. With the advent of radio and television, then later computers, researchers began to wonder if these new technologies increased learning, and if so, which modality was superior and how best do we combine these modalities. In the 1960s, Werner Severin looked at previous studies on single and multi-channel communications. He was able to synthesize and summarize the findings into some key observations. First, combining words with related or relevant illustrations will provide the best results because of the summation of cues between the channels. Combining words in two channels, so the same words written and spoken, will not result in significantly greater gain than single-channel communications because there's still just one cue. Unrelated cues in two channels will cause interference and result in less information gain than if one channel was presented alone. Single-channel communication is better than situation 3, equal to situation 2, and inferior to situation 1. More recently, Brashears and Baker found that students who received multiple channel instruction, in this case redundant audio and visual components, scored about as well as students in a cue summation group. Both of those groups scored significantly better than a single-channel group. Interestingly, students who were in the cue summation group reported higher levels of satisfaction with instruction than students in the redundant group. It is worth noting that other researchers still contend that redundancy in cues is not as effective. You may be wondering, so what is the difference between multiple channels and cue summation? These two theories share a lot of similarities, but the main difference is that multiple channel theory addresses specifically how information interacts when presented across modalities. So this could mean giving learners an audio and visual component simultaneously. Cue summation theory addresses cues presented on one channel or across multiple channels. For example, giving students the written word along with an illustration. Moore et al. Classifies multiple channel research under the umbrella of cue summation theory. There are some other closely related communication theories, such as dual coding theory and cognitive load theory, that intertwine with cue summation theory. So how does all of this relate to instructional design? As instructional designers, we need to understand how to help our learners meet instructional goals. Robert Mayer says that there are two basic learning outcomes: retention of material and transfer of information to another application. Cue summation theory informs what information to include in training materials and how to share that information with learners. When we're designing instruction, we should keep in mind that learners benefit from multiple cues across multiple channels. Incorporating complementary cues will help learners not only retain information, but also transfer that information to other applications and experiences. An example of cue summation in practice is this video of a speech by Sir Ken Robinson developed by RSA Animate. Let's watch a few seconds.
It's like the most important thing about them is their date of manufacture. What do you mean? Well, I know kids who are much better than other kids at the same age in different disciplines, or at different times of the day, or better in smaller groups than in large groups, or sometimes they want to be on their own. If you're interested in the model of learning, you don't start from this production line mentality.
You can see that they utilize illustrations, supplemental text, and redundant text to support the audio of Sir Ken's speech. All of these elements together create a more dynamic, engaging, and ultimately effective presentation than just a video of Ken standing in a lectern. Thank you for your time, and I hope you've learned a thing or two about Q summation theory. I've listed my references here, but I've also included them in the information below the video. Thanks again.